Hey guys, this is a video for those of you that are getting ready to go home for the holidays. It's Thanksgiving's coming up here, but it could be either holiday. And it's for those of you who think you're behind in life as you head home. You are beating yourself up. You are putting expectations on yourself. And I want to remind you that yes, these are expectations you put on yourself. I know I struggled with these for years. Doesn't mean they don't still come up sometimes, but I remember having conversations with my dad and stepmom about like the things that I expected of myself, and especially when I was going through kind of my, crisis of knowing who I was. They were just like, "You're putting all these on yourself," and somehow my brain thought that they were putting them on me. Anyway, but it's normal to feel like you haven't met all your perfect expectations, because number one, you're never going to be perfect, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But that's normal, and this is where self-help just kind of limits itself, because you may have all these goals, you may be trying to be positively thinking, and but none of that is going to make a difference when you're in this place, because when you are in that thinking place, your soul is suffering. You are struggling with where you're at. And it's funny that it's Thanksgiving, because it's really more about being grateful for where you're at. So put down the stick and let's talk about God's perspective. You can't realize this, that there is more to it without God's perspective. So I want to help you put your trust in God and truly appreciate the season you're in and be grateful for it. So there's 3 ways I'm going to do this. Number 1, trust that God has a plan for you. If life isn't working how you expected, I'm telling you, it literally is like, it should just be a pivot to you. I mean, I remember when I was wanting to have a baby, and I remember calling my husband and I was like, "Oh man, why does she get 2 and I don't?" And I remember him saying, "Honey, wouldn't our life be boring if it wasn't God running the show?" And I was like, whoa, that's huge. It's like, when you have God's perspective, you can trust him. Look at Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future." God's got another plan, a better plan. And you know what? It's in his timing, not yours. Second, put down the stick. I already told you that, but how do you do that? Go read Matthew 11:28-30. Recognize that he can help you carry this burden you're putting on yourself. This is, again, where self-help isn't enough. You can't just carry this burden yourself. Let me look at Matthew 11:28-30 NIV. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke up and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So that heavy yoke you are carrying, that you're putting on yourself for not being enough or doing enough, isn't yours to bear alone. You can give it to the Lord. Third, realize you're human and you're never going to have it all figured out. Life is a journey. Spiritual growth is a journey. In Philippians 3, Paul talks about all of these things he had in the world. He had all these labels he carried, but he also talked about how he persecuted the church, but none of it compared to knowing Christ. He says in Philippians 3, verses 7-8, New Living Translation, "I once thought these things were valuable, but now I consider them worthless because of what Christ has done. Yes, everything else is worthless when compared with the infinite value of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. For his sake, I have discarded everything else, counting it all garbage so that I could gain Christ." More importantly, in verses 12-14, this is applicable to what I just said. "I don't mean to say that I have already achieved these things or that I have already reached perfection, but I press on to possess the perfection for which Christ Jesus first possessed me. No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing. Forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead, I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which God, through Jesus Christ, is calling us." This is not just about the things that you want for your life. This is about Christ. This is about He is better than anything else you can want in the world. So when you rest in his plan and trust in his plan, doesn't mean it's all of a sudden like, I got it. Okay, God, I got it. You know, I'm good with your plan all the time. Doesn't mean it's always easy to be good with his plan. Are you kidding me? But that's why we trust him. That's why we trust that, you know, he can carry our burdens, and that this is a journey. Spiritual growth is a journey. Getting to know the Lord is a journey. So I just pray that whoever is watching this, that you just trust in the Lord. Trust that he is walking with you into these holidays, and you just don't have to carry that burden alone, and know that it's just your plan is not the perfect plan. He's got a better plan. So okay, tomorrow I'm going to talk about the other side of expectations, when we have expectations of others when we're going home for the holidays, because there's two sides to it. So all right, I will see you tomorrow. Mentor Mama Mare, Instagram and YouTube. Bye.